Welcome to the Vibes Podcast with your host, Snoop.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Vibes. And well, as you can hear, I've got a little jingle going on right in the beginning. Let me know what you think. I hope that you all like it. But without any further delay, let's go straight into the tech news for the week. So, what have we got going on? Well, Subaru have planned to sell only electrical cars by the middle of 2030. So there seems like there's a massive push to have electrical cars going out there on the streets. And again, I said many times before, this is definitely a welcome change. And now we're seeing more and more organizations jumping onto that. I mean, there are still rumors about Apple looking to come into that industry, but now that Sony are making an electrical car, I really do think so that we will see Apple come out there as well with their own car, and other car manufacturers also releasing their electrical cars. I mean, we have the Mustang that is out with, which is all electrical, etc. So Subaru have made a commitment that they are only looking to sell electrical cars by the middle of 2030. The next news, which really caught my attention, is that Uber are looking to do an experiment which will let California drivers to set their own fees. So if you are a Uber user, you know that when you book an Uber, there is one fee that you see on the screen, and then it'll give you a price range. So let's say, for example, it's between $5 to $6, and you know that you're going to be paying that much. However, with this experimentation which is going to be taking place, they are saying that drivers will be able to charge a lot more, and some are saying that it could cost 5 times more. Now, will this entice more Uber drivers? Will this entice people to jump from their rivals? I'm not too sure. I mean, overall, I think, people would like to know what they're going to pay up front and be able to see that one fee will cover every driver. To have it go from fee to fee, it's going to be interesting to see how it goes. Will Lyft be able to gain more people from Uber? This will be a very, very interesting experiment overall. It will be interesting to see if they do take this elsewhere as well, but let's see. Another thing is, this is more for the gamers. If you know Telltales have made video games such as the Walking Dead series, which was amazing. They made Batman, Jurassic Park, and Back to the Future. And their games were very much episodic, and the way that it works was that if you did one action, it will hinder the entire storyline, which will give you a different ending to a game. It was a very, very popular thing, but the organization went under. However, they're saying that the entire game will now be available on the Nintendo Switch, and that the entire saga will also be available on Steam later this week. So if you are a gamer, if you are missing out on playing Walking Dead on your Nintendo Switch, it will be coming out on Steam as well. It is available right now. I really highly recommend the game because it has a great storyline. I was really hooked into it when it came, so definitely look out for that if you are a gamer. Telltale are releasing their complete Walking Dead series game on the Nintendo Switch. There's other things that have been reported, that the latest Chrome OS education devices that we see in schools, etc., will be having a bump for updates and how many updates that it gets. Usually Chrome OS devices will receive 6 years of software support, but that has now changed to 8, which is great to see because it means that schools can hold on to these Chrome machines for much longer for educational purposes. And, it is a lot more enticing for education sectors to look at Chrome OS overall, get these Chromebooks in and know that they will get 8 years of support. So great news to see there coming from Google. At the same token, and still continuing with Google, they are also setting an experiment of their own where they are looking to make an experimental app that will shame you into taming phone addiction. So basically, it will give you things on the screen to say something like, place your phone in your envelope, seal it, and then, other weird, quirky things like that. So the whole idea is that the messages on the screen that you see when you look at it will say, what are you doing? And you kind of look at it and you think, do you know what? Maybe I don't need to check my phone right now. The use of mobile devices, and I've spoken about this in another podcast, is fairly high. I mean, when I travel into work and back, like I said, there are a lot of people that are hooked onto their mobile devices. So to have something to help you curb, not the addiction, but to curb the usage is always great to see. And to see that Google are taking that a step further, it will be really interesting to see if messages on the screen actually does make a difference. But really, really excited to see that and also to play around with it when I can. Lego are looking to make a Lego version of the International Space Station, and they're looking to say that they're going to release that on the 1st of February. They're saying that the set is going to cost roughly about $70, which isn't too bad if you think about it. But if you are a fan of space, if you like Lego, or if you're looking to get Lego sets for your kids and, to build something really interesting, then the International Space Station is definitely one of them. So like I said, that will be coming out on February the 1st. It's set to be costing about $70. So do look out for that if you're looking to pick that up. Now, to go back onto the gaming scene, we have a very popular game called Half-Life. I mentioned about a VR game called Half-Life Alyx, which I think is going to be coming out in 2 months' time. But the entire Half-Life selection of games, like the entire series of that game, Half-Life 1, Half-Life 2, etc., they're saying that all of these games are free on Steam until March. So if you've never played Half-Life, or if you want to get hold of that collection, jump onto Steam right away, make sure you download that and play it. Have fun. So that's definitely great news for gamers out there. So look out for that as well. Now, there's been other news about the Chromebooks and the Chromebooks for school, but I'm not going to be talking about Chrome OS, but I'm going to be talking about HP as a manufacturer. And HP have turned around to say that they're looking to make their latest Chromebooks for schools to have more durable keyboards. Now, I'm not too sure how durable keyboards are overall. I know that the Apple Macs don't have the best keyboard. I think the 16-inch Mac has fixed that. But I've never had a chance to really play on a Chromebook myself. But again, if it's being used in school quite heavily, if it's being used by a lot of children heavily, I think keyboards could be one of the things that could wear out first and could stop working. So the fact that HP are looking to build their hardware to have better keyboards and which are more durable is great. Will we see this on, consumer products? Will we see this in business products? It will be interesting to see. I know that at this moment of time, there is a massive push from HP to really come into the mobile device space. They're looking to really come back into the laptop space. I think Lenovo have really dominated that area. So to see HP making something a lot more durable for schools, again, a very, very great welcome news for the education sector. Other news and other kind of not news, but other leaks maybe, or theories or rumors, is that Apple are looking to make smaller, cheaper iPhones in February to be ready for a launch in March. Now, when they talk about smaller, cheaper iPhones, I kind of think, will we see the iPhone SE too? Now, the iPhone SE was basically an iPhone in the shape of an iPhone 5. So to be able to see a smaller, cheaper device will be a welcome surprise, because at this moment of time, Android are really owning that space. The Google Pixel 3a has really dominated that space when it has come to a lower priced mobile devices. Talking with a colleague of mine, we talk about Poco phones, which were, cheap but yet very powerful. I think Apple have stranded away from that mid-market. So to be able to build devices that will be a lot more affordable for that market will definitely be a welcome surprise. Will they go back to a smaller screen form factor? I'm not too sure. So let's see if these rumors are true. I know that Samsung have their event on the 11th of February with their new Galaxy devices. How are Apple going to respond to that? Surely they must respond to that. Will there be a cheaper version of the Galaxy? There is. They announced the Galaxy S10 Lite, etc. So, let's see how that goes. Now, Amazon Pharmacy, which I am not going to lie, I had no idea existed until recently, are looking to expand to the UK, Canada, and in Australia as well. They've applied for a trademark on Amazon Pharmacy in these countries. I guess this is a means of being able to get some kind of medication through Amazon. Like I said, I had no idea that they were doing that. But like I said, there is an application done by Amazon looking to use that name within the UK, Canada, and Australia. I will definitely be reading into it a lot more. Like I said, I've not known that they've had this. So I'm definitely going to look into it a lot more and probably highlight this again in the next podcast. The next thing is for WhatsApp users. Dark mode is finally coming to Android to all users. At the moment, dark mode was only available to beta users that were testing the application. Dark mode is something that has really gained traction when it comes to laptops and to other machines. But to see that dark mode is now coming finally to Android devices for everybody soon, it will definitely be a welcome change for a lot of users. I know a lot of people do prefer having the darker screen with the white text. I happen to be one of them, especially when you're using a device in the evenings or late at night. So, that's coming out. So if you're a heavy WhatsApp user, please do look out for that on Android. Talking about Android, Motorola will finally begin taking orders or pre-orders for the foldable Razr phone. I obviously spoke about the Razr again. This was a good month ago with a foldable flip phone, which had a foldable screen. So they're looking to take pre-orders on January the 26th, and it will be available on the 6th of February. It's going to be really interesting to see how the sales will be like for this phone. I imagine a lot of people will pick this up. Like I said, it's nothing about picture quality. It's just a phone that you flip out and you're able to use. So again, something very interesting to see. I'm sure I'll get my hands on one just to play around with it to see how it's like. I think it's something that really does scream out to me, in terms of a phone that I see more people are going to use with the foldable screen. I do foresee this to be a very, very successful mobile device that a lot of people are going to pick up. Continuing on the smartphone sector, Seattle in the US, the area of Seattle are looking to allow residents to vote via a smartphone, and this is going to be the first time that this is going to happen. This is all in lieu for a test to see how people are going to vote. Will it get more people voting is the key question, because I think that's one of the battles that most people tend to have in terms of getting the numbers of people to vote, trying to see how many people are going to do that. But to be able to have voting done by mobile phones, via smartphones is great. I mean, I've got a lot of questions when it comes to security, when it comes to what they're able to do in that sense. But, definitely something to look out for. So in the Seattle area, elections will be able to be done via smartphone. Interesting. Very interesting indeed. Now, Germany, they have to pay Microsoft something nearly about $1 million for extended security patches purely because they have failed to upgrade from Windows 7 to Windows 10. Obviously, Windows 7 reached the end of life on the 14th of January this year, but it seems like that the federal ministry has at least 33,000 computers that are still running Windows 7 today. And just to keep that, supported, just to make sure that it gets some security updates, there is a fee behind that, and they're paying roughly about $1 million just to make sure that these machines are fine. I'm sure that they will need to get a project into place ASAP to get these updated. But surprising to see that they didn't prep for it. Is there something to do with the software that they use that they can't change onto? I don't really foresee that being an issue, but really shocking to see that, that is the case. And to keep on the whole Microsoft bandwagon, it's been reported this past week gone that Microsoft accidentally exposed about 250 million customer service records out there. Microsoft themselves are saying that it has found no evidence of any malicious use of the software, but still that is quite embarrassing for an organization like Microsoft. It was something to do with a database error which left it open, and obviously 250 million customer services records were leaked in this whole thing. Again, security is a big thing. This is the second major data security breach that it has had in terms of customer support. I think the last time happened in April 2019. I'm not too sure when this one particularly happened, but they're saying that happened at the end of 2019. So that's something that I'm sure that the organization will be going to look into and going to really make sure that doesn't happen again. So a little bit of a whoopsie moment from them. Now, PGA Tour Golf, for all of golf fans out there that might listen to this podcast, they're saying that highlight videos will be coming to Facebook Watch. And Facebook Watch is basically videos that you can watch via the platform, Facebook platform. And they're looking to have PGA Tour highlights on that. So if you are on Facebook, if you are a fan of PGA golf as a whole, you can now watch these videos on the Facebook Watch platform. So interesting to see that they've taken that route. Google Collections is something new, which is looking to save you time and organize your searches better. The feature is going to use AI recommended related websites, images, products. Again, I'm not too sure if this is out at the moment. They're saying that this feature will come out on the US first. But the whole idea is that there will be you will be able to share or collaborate on collections that you've got, which you'll find in the Google app on the Google sites. And you'll be able to work together on it. It's ideal for people that are obviously planning weddings or planning birthdays, and you're trying to share a collection of toys or what to get or costumes, etc., etc. So, like I said, that's coming out in the US first. And if you are a heavy Google user, or if you use Android products or Chrome OS, something to definitely look out for sure. I know that other organizations do have this feature. I know that at this current moment of time, Microsoft are looking to have this feature as well. They've been dabbling around with that. I'm sure Apple would jump onto the bandwagon soon where you have collections. So interesting to see there. India are looking to launch a humanoid robot ahead of its first crewed space mission. Really interesting to see that they're looking to have a humanoid robot. I've seen a video of it, and the humanoid robot, I think, looks particularly really cool. It's basically, the whole idea of the robot is to help it operate switch panels, talk to the astronauts, and obviously monitor, the spacecraft's environmental systems, life support systems. So interesting to see that they're looking to prototype a humanoid that will do it all. Definitely a really scary moment that we've got robots doing all of this that looks like humans. But really, really cool to see. And, talking about it, and the reason why I was giggling about that initially is I watched Picard over the weekend just gone, where I don't want to ruin it too much if you are a Star Trek fan, but it was really interesting because that whole element of robots and humanoids were in that as well. If you are a fan of Star Trek, please do check it out. I think it was an amazing first episode. So, I'll definitely, if I'll highlight anything on any of the streaming services, I will definitely put it in my podcast moving forwards. But Picard was really interesting to watch. Microsoft again have finally rolled out an emulator or an SDK for the Surface Duo. The Neo functionality of it all will come later on in time, which is the bigger brother of the Duo, but the Duo is their mobile phone. The navigation of the new Microsoft mobile phone, which is known as the Surface Duo, looks really cool. I was a bit unsure about the hinge in the middle, but now that I've seen it in action, and there is a video online where they show how it all works, it looks really cool. I think the interface and how they're doing things is amazing. How you look at Outlook and how that spans across two screens looks really amazing. I definitely think they might be onto something, and to know that they've released something to allow developers to work on this. It is running off Android on the mobile devices. I'm really excited to see this. If you get a chance to see it online, of the video of how the Surface Duo is going to act in terms of its interface, please do Google it. Please do check it out and let me know what you think. But like I said, I was pleasantly surprised in how it looks like it's going to work. But at the end of the day, it depends on how developers are going to adhere to it. Folding screens, dual screens that fold are something that a lot of organizations will be looking into to do. We're definitely going to see a growth in that market. I think it's something that I don't think Microsoft need to push developers on. I think that naturally people are going to jump onto that bandwagon. DirecTV satellites are basically saying that they are in risk of explosion due to battery issues. And they're saying that the satellites are going around, and I'm not too sure how it works in the whole space front, but they're saying that it is exposed to a risk of exploding. What does it mean in terms of how DirecTV will work in the US? I'm not too sure. But the news of exploding satellites in outer space is not something that really gives me much confidence. So I don't know how you all there feel about it. But interesting to see that, we're going to have exploding satellites in the sky due to battery issues. So very weird to see that make the news, but it has done. One other thing is that the FBI's, and there's a lot of reports that the FBI's have recently cracked an iPhone 11. Apple are an organization that really pride themselves in making sure that their phones are secure, there's no privacy issues, etc. Now, I don't know how everybody feels about this out there. I might have a different complete view, and I'd love to have my listeners really come out and educate me as well. But I don't really see an issue if, an organization or if a, law enforcement organization such as the FBI, as the police, etc., have access to phone data. I always say, what does anybody have to hide? But, this is definitely gaining a lot of traction. I'm sure that will upset a few people. I'm sure other people don't really care, but to know that an iPhone 11 has been able to be cracked doesn't mean that your phone is more susceptible to be cracked by anybody else. Those are the kind of questions that are being asked, but that has definitely been highlighted. I think that has been highlighted by the Department of Justice, but that's making the news round last week as well. Twitter are looking to launch Facebook-like reaction emojis for their direct messages. Emojis are one things that are really, really gaining traction. So you can put a smiley face, a crying face, a heart, a thumbs up or a thumbs down. So if you want to do any of that in your direct messages on Twitter, you can do that. Again, I used to be on Twitter. I don't use it anymore. But if you want to give anybody thumbs up for a message that somebody sent you directly, you can do that. I think we should see this as being the norm now. And I think this is something that everybody expects from the tool overall. So nothing too new out there, but nice to see that Twitter are jumping onto that bandwagon. Now, back to Microsoft and their naughtiness. If you install Office 365 Business, they are auto-switching your Chrome searches to go to Bing instead of the default of Google. A little bit underhanded here, I personally think. I think the choices should be done by the end users or by the organization for these business installations. But it seems like that they are bringing in Microsoft Search within Chrome, putting extensions in there, and they're saying that it's an extension to Office 365 Pro Plus. Does it mean that you can search for something in Chrome and it can bring up something related to your work? So if you type in something, it'll be like, oh, I was working on a Word document for that. I'm not too sure, but I think it's still a little bit cheeky that they've kind of automated that process. So a little bit of a slap in the back of the hand there. I don't think that's going to go down very well with a lot of IT people out there. And for end users, of course. Apple, in their latest browser preview, have finally dropped Flash. Now, Flash was something that Adobe had all over the internet. You know, websites would run off Flash. You know, you have videos or animations that would run off Flash. And Flash more or less died a death because, it wasn't as secure. It had a lot of holes. And, technology has changed over time where you could do things like that without that forum. I'm quite surprised that Flash is still around. It's still clinging on to their life overall. But to see that Apple are now dropping Flash on its latest Safari browser preview means that moving forwards, we're not going to see that on any devices. So how you react with some of the websites that have Flash at the moment, I'm not too sure that they will work very well. But not many websites do use Flash that heavily. So definitely I think that's the move in the right direction. That technology is dying. Tinder are looking to work on a panic button for dangerous situations, and I think this is very much welcomed. I think there's been a lot of ups and downs when it comes to the whole dating scene, when it comes to these dating apps, I should say, where people can find themselves to be in, uncomfortable situations and, not to be able to have something where you can access something quickly to say, I need help or I need to get out of this. To see that Tinder are that they're working onto a panic button that's built into the app, it should be a fairly seamless, straightforward thing to activate. That for me is very much a welcome change that has come in to have this within Tinder. I think Tinder is one of the most favorite apps for dating when it comes to swiping and if you like somebody. So to see an organization working on that is great to see in terms of safety, in terms of making sure that people are okay. Now, if you are a fan of Tetris, that famous Russian block game, and I'm not too sure what the history of Tetris is, but I know that I've played it quite a lot. EA mobile games are looking to drop Tetris. So the Tetris game that you play on your mobile phone was initially released by EA Mobile. They're going to drop that. However, it's going to be replaced by a new Tetris game. So if you are a fan of playing Tetris on your mobile device, on your mobile phone, there will be a new Tetris game that will obviously cover for EA's dropout in the mobile space for that game. Do people still play it quite a lot? I'm not too sure, but if they don't, it's definitely a game that I think people should try again. It's a classical game that makes you think. It's not that easy. So, sad to see it go, but also happy to see it come back. So, if you're a fan of Tetris, please do download that once it's out. Snapchat very interesting news from Snapchat is that they will hold exclusive NBC Olympic coverage. So whenever you open up your Snapchat applications, they're looking at, you can look at little snippets and stuff, etc. Snapchat will show you snippets of football games or tennis games or basketball games. And talking about basketball games, there's been sad news about Kobe Bryant, I think, dying in a helicopter crash. So sad news to obviously see that. He was definitely an amazing player and really inspirational for the sport and beyond that. So sad news to see tonight with that. However, going back to the Olympics, we're seeing that Snapchat have a deal with NBC to have these snippets of videos that you can watch on that social media platform and know what's going on with the 2020 Olympics. So they have exclusive rights to that. The Department of Energy in the US are looking to invest $300 million in green transportation research. And what I'm talking about green transportation research is looking at, fuel cell technologies. They're looking at hydrogen fuel cell technologies. They're looking at, breakthroughs that will reduce the cost of biofuels and etc. Just to make sure that, we can go around the cities or go around places with, little economical impact. So again, interesting to see that money's being pumped in. It's the right area to be pumped in now. I think climate change and what's going on with the environment is definitely one thing that everybody should be focusing on. Now, in Orlando, Universal Studios Epic Theme Park, they're saying that Super Nintendo World is not going to open until 2023. I had no idea this was coming. And I know where I'm going to be in 2023. I'm going to be going to Super Nintendo World once it opens. It's going to be a gamer's dream. Will we see, Mario jumping up and down in these coins and other Super Nintendo games? Like I said, I had no idea that Nintendo were working on a theme park like this in conjunction with Universal Studios. But it is a great reason to go to Orlando in 2023 if you're a gamer. I'm sure it will be very colourful, very fun. Nintendo are known to be quite colourful and fun. So, yeah, that's been announced. They're saying that, you won't see it open until then. If it's any sooner, I would be surprised as well. Apple have had a swipe at the EU, and they're saying that their push for having a universal phone charger is going to stifle innovation. Because it still wants to have the control to change connectors on its own terms and have their own thing. There's been a massive push, let's be honest, that Apple do not want to stay away from the Lightning port. Everybody's going to USB-C. There's a push to have all devices to have USB-C charging. A lot of organizations have jumped onto that. However, Apple is one of those organizations that have stuck with the Lightning cable. I actually quite like the Lightning cable technology. I don't think it's that bad. I think it's pretty cool. I know a lot of people would rather see the Apple iPhone devices go to USB-C. I don't know. I think a part of me thinks that they should stick to Lightning, purely because there are a lot of devices out there that use these Lightning ports, and I don't think there's enough devices out there that use USB-C, and I don't think it's prudent to make Apple make that change and then force other manufacturers to change everything else. So I think to have it all standardized is great. It's going to take some time. I'm not too sure about it stifling innovation though, or stifling something new. I think collectively organizations should get together and should be able to make something collectively that works across the board. Maybe it's about time for Apple and companies like Sony to let go of having exclusive rights on certain things, or come up with things and say this is the way that we're going to do it. I think Sony were a lot more notorious for doing that back in the day, but this is now Apple that do that this day and age. Google's I/O developer event is going to be taking place on the 12th of May. I'm not too sure about the location. I'm looking into it right now. They're saying that it's going to take place in Mountain View. I think that is where it has been all the other times. Now, the last conference, I think overall was really disappointing in terms of what they did and what they released. After all, I really honestly think they need to pick up with the whole Google Stadia thing, because that's one thing that I'm sure that they do not want it to go away. But again, at the same time, AI and I believe quantum computing are the two things that they may focus on. Google are one of the organizations that I think lag behind companies like Amazon and Microsoft when it comes to AWS, when it comes to Microsoft Azure. They definitely need to do a lot of work to really gain that space. So again, will be interesting to see what happens there. The FDA have warned hospitals about some security flaws in some GE medical equipment. It will allow these devices to be controlled remotely. So they are warning hospitals about this. So hopefully they will get some kind of patch, or they can change things, or take it offline. Whatever that needs to be done, because playing with someone's health isn't a really cool thing. So that's out there. Again, to the US, if you are a Sprint user, Sprint has said that they will fix anybody's cracked Samsung Galaxy screens for $49. And it will also offer $150 towards a new device if your screen can't be fixed. So, interesting to see that a company is doing that for the Samsung Galaxies. And I'm surprised it's just for the Samsung Galaxies. But if you are a Sprint user and you've got a Samsung Galaxy device and you've got a crack in your screen, you can get it replaced for $49, which I don't think is too bad, actually. Now, there's a new GPS system that uses a satellite image that puts you into the right lane. And what that essentially means that you're not going to have any last minute merging of lanes. It will probably tell you to say, please get into this lane because there's traffic ahead that could stop you or prevent you from getting into a lane. It can cause slowdowns, etc. So great to see that GPS technology is getting smarter. I think it's only bound to get even more smarter with the emergence of AI. But there are new systems out there that will be able to do that, and I think we will see that over the near future. Samsung, and going back onto the whole Samsung thing, they're looking to build its own version of AirDrop. And AirDrop is when you can share files from one device to another. It's a pretty cool feature if you want to quickly share something with your friend in terms of a picture, etc., instead of sending it over a message. But they're looking to call this Quick Share, and they want it to, make it a fairly simple process. I'm actually quite surprised that you can't do that right now. I guess I just made the assumption that they already do that, but clearly they don't. So Samsung are working on that. I think Google on the Pixel are going to release something similar just around the corner in the next release for their update. So they're definitely jumping onto that bandwagon. London police are beginning to use live facial recognitions across London now, which is a bit of a different stance to what Europe are doing, because they're looking to ban the technology for 5 years. So we have London, which obviously we're leaving the EU, looking to use it. Now we have the EU looking to ban it. So in terms of security, will people have an issue with facial recognition? I don't think so. I think people kind of assume that already happened. I surely did. So, so that's what's going to be happening in London. So if you're walking around, please be aware that your face is going to be recognised, especially when you're going to the ice cream shop when you should be going on a diet. Now, Sega have a new app that lets you remotely play a real claw machine in Japan. So I can be sat at home, jump onto a claw machine and play this claw machine and win myself a fluffy toy. I haven't heard anything so crazy in my entire life, but this is out there. To a point that I'm so intrigued that I probably want to have a go myself and see if I can win myself a cuddly toy. But it's out there. There's a new app that's out there. I'm not too sure what the app is called, but once I find it, I definitely will give it a go and see how it goes. So, really, really interesting to see that you can play a claw machine. Now, Google have made a promise that they're going to make search better. Apparently, there's been a redesign when it comes to the search. I've not really seen too much of it. I don't really tend to Google. I just tend to search in the address bar and it does it for me. But apparently something has changed in the search space that has upset a lot of people. And Google have made a promise that they will fix it. So I'm not too sure what the redesign is. I've been on it and I honestly cannot spot it at this moment of time. But clearly there has been a change and Google are going to fix it. So if you've noticed that and it's bugging you, please be aware that Google are going to change it. Talking about Uber, and I talked about Uber earlier on, they've now reached their last major city in North America. So now, people in Vancouver, in Canada, can now hail Uber cabs and Lyft cabs. I didn't know that was the case. There's a lot of things that I'm learning this week. But they're saying that Uber are going to reach its large major city in North America, and Vancouver is one of them. So if you live in Vancouver or if you're looking to visit Vancouver, you can now use Uber or Lyft to get yourself a cab to go to wherever you want to go to. Now, Vine. I'm not too sure if anybody remembers Vine. It was a video app where people can post for 6 seconds. Well, the co-founder of Vine is now releasing. Vine is no longer gone, but no longer here. But they're looking to release a new 6-second video app called Byte. That's the name of it. Will it be popular? I really liked Vine. I thought it was pretty cool. And then it died a bit of a death due to certain reasons. Due to comedians going out of hand, I think, personally speaking. But to see Vine come back in a new form definitely will be interesting to see how that goes, how that works. That announcement has been made. I'm not too sure when it's coming out, but if you are interested, go to Byte, so byte.co. So do check that out. Tesla are looking, it's been leaked that they have new batteries when it comes to their Model S and Model X, and it will bring in wireless phone charging on these actual cars itself. I think overall, the Teslas are full of technology, are really great, but they're saying that they will have newer batteries in there. Will it give you longer distances? I think they're saying that there's a new charge point. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with these changes and what these changes brings in. And keeping on the whole electrical car bandwagon, Porsche are going to have their first ever Super Bowl ad in 23 years, where they're going to show off their electrical Porsche. So definitely, like I said, electrical cars are a big thing. Now going back to India have now been marked as the largest smartphone maker at the moment when compared to the US. So there's a lot more mobile phones being built in India versus the US at the moment. Obviously, with the whole change with Chinese phone manufacturers and all of that hoo-ha that's going on at the moment, is really giving India a new market. I know that new iPhones are being built in India as well, so interesting to see that's going on. Obviously, we've got the Samsung event around the corner on the 11th of February, but there's been leaks of the Galaxy S20 and the Galaxy Buds Plus. There's been a leak of it all. They're saying that there's a Galaxy S20 Plus, there's a Galaxy S20 Ultra, that's the name that's been leaked. Not too much is given away, but there is cameras on the back of the phone. I think, one of these phones is going to have this super amazing zoom because it has this massive, camera lens of 100 plus pixels. It's supposed to be very powerful. Again, fairly interested to see how that's going to pan out. We'll find out soon in February how that's going to go. However, I left the best for last, and this one made me chuckle. The US Space Force logo is basically the Star Trek logo. I kid you not, if you Google the US Space Force logo and then get the Star Trek logo and put it next to each other, they look identical except for the writing what's on there. I guess if you can't think of anything, just copy a popular space show program. Really interesting. I really like the logo because I like Star Trek, so bit of a weird one there. But I'm going to end it on that one. I hope that you enjoyed the podcast. I wanted to say thank you to all of my listeners. Again, please do give me your love and your feedback. I love to hear from you all. And until next week, I shall chat to you all soon. Bye.